Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 33 of the Great App Breakdown. Today is a very special episode, just like every other episode, but today is special because we're looking at an app that I'm very excited to look at. It's called Sunlitt, Sun Position and Path. Very descriptive. And you might think, why are you even excited about an app like this? And the reason is I love to eat outside. I do that as often as I can in the sun. And so I have used a competitor of this app in the past to know which restaurants add tables in the sun at which time. Now, the problem is that that other competitor was shit. It was like very poorly designed. And so this week a friend sent me this app. So I'm very excited to actually test it and try to use it as my daily sun driver. So let's actually open Sunlitt here. I've never opened the app before, so it's going to be a first for all of us together. Cool. Opening up Sunlitt here. First of all, I really love the icon. It's just so clean. So let's open it up. Okay, nice little 3D view. What is? Oh, it's gyroscopic. I guess they're teaching me how to use the app or what it does. Very interesting. So it's not just an animation, it's also teaching you stuff. So I'm moving the phone and it's just like pointing to where the sun is and how the shade represents. I really love this. It's entertaining, and I guess it's also teaching me how to use the app. And we have a skip up top and a tracking the sun, never been easier with Sunlitt at the bottom. I'm not sure which to press. I'm gonna press the bottom banner here. Okay, so we're basically in a tutorial straight away. We have some progressive disclosure, very guided. Okay, drag the slider up and down. Okay, so this is how you change the time. This is so beautiful with the colors changing on the back. All right, look at this shade. This shade is just gorgeous. All right, and we have the sunrise there and the sunset. Oh, very awkward time to prompt for a review. So let's not review now. Let's take a look at the little details of the slider here. So first of all, the slider label is actually very big, so you have space to tap it. And then something that a lot of sliders do wrong is when you tap the label stays in place, so your finger covers it. So in this case, when I press the label, you see it goes to the side so that it's not underneath my finger and I can actually see the numbers below it. It's a tiny detail, but one worth pointing out. And then as we press it, we also have other labels come out for sunrise and sunset. I like that they minimize it and it's just rise and set. And as my finger goes to it, notice how it's like pushed out of view, and then when it goes from one side of my finger to the other, there's a little haptic letting me know that I've passed that threshold. So very satisfying slider here, and the impact on the animation is also amazing. So let's continue that. Otherwise, I'm going to stay talking about a slider for half an hour, which nobody wants to see, or maybe okay, continue. Okay, we have a little bottom sheet showing at the bottom. Not your location. Allow access to location for accurate sun. Okay, I'm gonna click continue. It just makes sense to allow location for an app like this. Okay, we have here the blurred permission. Let's keep allow while using the app. And straight away we have a paywall. Okay, so what do we have? We have a yearly plan, a monthly plan, and a lifetime plan. The shade is just the shade of the sunset on the background. We have an Apple Design Award. This is their version of we are very good. You should actually pay for us. Apple Design Awards are very cool actually. So I like that. And then you have a button to try for free. So there's actual no just buy button. It's just a try for free button. Oh, and they seem to have some loading. Okay. No, not loading issues. So there is a buy button. It just doesn't look like one. Basically, if you tap yearly, monthly, or lifetime, Apple Pay is just gonna come up. So let's click try for free now. All right, 1 week free trial. So we get to see the experience, what it actually looks like. Okay, so we're at the home screen now. And what do we have here? I was expecting to see the map. Actually, you can see that it's 10 p.m. right now. I can use the slider just like I was able to on the intro. And now the slider also has a little note for now. So I guess I can just tap now. Yep. And I can tap on the rise and set. Okay, very nice. So we're on now. This screen doesn't really give me much information, if I'm being honest. So let's try tapping on map. Okay, and now we start to see a few things. I was expecting the center animation to keep the same, basically to stay the same whether a map is on or not. So you see the map here. You can use it normally as a map. I'm guessing this is just Apple Maps. Center on the north here. But let's just take a moment to analyze the general UI. So we have the slider on the right that we saw in the onboarding. At the top left, we have an indication for today. Let's tap that, see what it does. Oh, tapping does nothing, but you can slide it just like you can with the other slider, basically. Okay, interesting. And you can change to any day. So this is really made to be used with two different hands. So you see it's really made for a double hand operation. Let's go to today again. And then at the bottom, what we have? We have a bottom sheet peeking in. We have a small menu, one menu to change between map and the little cube. Okay. And they try to hide the UI for the map when it is not necessary, which is nice. So let's tap that. Nice little transition here, nothing too complex. I wonder if they're already adapted for liquid glass and I'm just still not on liquid glass. I need to update at some point, but for most apps, I'm actually not a big fan. One day I'll update though. And then in terms of menu inside of the map here, we have a magnifying glass, okay, where I can just look for things. And the sheet, we have 2D and 3D. So 2D like this, and then 3D, it just like tilts the map. And then we can select map style. So just different styles of maps. Let's keep it to this now. Cool. We have a little bug here at the bottom with the bottom sheet. If you see after I tapped search, like now the location is a bit cut. That's probably just a bug. And what else do we have? We have a button for location. So basically if I tap it, it's going to go to my current location. And then we have a more button for settings, notifications, and alerts. Let's try swiping up the sheet to see what we have here. I really love this navigation at the bottom where it's just today, the time, and search. Like it's extremely simple. This is the kind of navigation that works very well with liquid glass. So if I add liquid glass right now, it would probably look a lot better than it does now. But then the rest of the things, it sometimes doesn't look as good. So we have the weather, windy, and if we tap it, another sheet comes up on top of that. So navigation feels very light because it's just sheets and you can easily pull them away. And then we just have different bits of information about the day. So we have the time of the sun, okay. Last light, morning, twilight, moonlight. Oh, I think we have an example here of upselling into another app. Let's tap here the moonlight. Yup, there we go. They upsell their moon tracker inside of their sun tracker. Genius. Okay, we're not gonna test the moonlight right now, but actually if I knew before starting to record the video, we probably would test it too. So let's just scroll this down and go back into this view. So what do we actually have here? If I tap on the center, nothing happens. So basically just gyroscopically, we can see where the sun went. And if I go through time, I can see that the sun was right there and then it got sunset around there. So it's very simple. Let's actually try to use it for the use case that I actually do, which is looking for restaurants. So usually what I'll do is just go to a random place that I know has a bunch of restaurants, look like this and be like, okay, I want to have lunch at 1. What restaurant is actually in the shade right now? And I would love if this app actually had lists of restaurants, so much like Google Maps, and then I could just filter through. Actually, it's an app that has been on my to-do list. I want to vibe code something like this, but this app just doesn't have it. I guess it's more for like photographers. I don't actually know who uses these apps, to be honest, because I use it for restaurants, but I imagine that there are a bunch of different use cases. I really like this also animation of the UI going in and out as you pan. Basically, when you're panning, you don't need all of the noise on the screen. And so they just minimize all of this. An interesting approach. All right, let's tap here on the center and start moving things around, see what the animation looks like. You can see the sun, the direction that the sun is pointing, and all of the shade. I wonder where they get all of their data from. That's an interesting problem to solve. And then if we switch to the simplified view, we get again this little view, but the sun doesn't actually line up with what I was looking at. So it's an interesting decision that whenever you are on this view, basically the gyroscope tells which way you're looking at. And when you're on the map, that's not really respected. And if you pan, actually nothing happens. I wish they kept it somewhat consistent so that these two views felt more integrated with one another. Let's explore more the sheet here, since it's actually the only other UI element we have to explore. So we have cloudy right now. What else can we tap inside of here? I'm just tapping things randomly, see what's tappable, and it seems like nothing is. So the app is just really that simple. Let's try the date picker from here. Okay, so it's a standard date picker. They do try to do a nice animation of the time and the hours going by. Sometimes it fails because things move up and down. For example, here from today to February. Oh, what actually happens is, so they have more information about today than they do about other days. And so when you're switching from today to another day, the transition is not as smooth because there are different elements loading in. Actually, let's do that again, because this is a good example of when it is challenging to load information versus not. So for example, if I'm switching between February 12th and March 12th, you can see that the animation is very seamless. And why is it very seamless? Because we have a defined set of categories and we're just changing numbers inside of them. So basically there's only like a text switching animation and it works very well. On the other hand, when I'm switching between February 12th and January 12th, which is today, you see that the animation breaks. And the reason why it breaks is because we have this top section for cloudy and the other sections for shadow ratio and azimuth, whatever that is. Oh no, so it's just the cloudy section. So we have the cloudy section that is coming in, and that section is not properly animated with regards to the rest of it. So instead of pushing it down, it kind of just glitches out. And this is a good call out to know for when you're loading information. If you have different, basically, branches of information, different cuts, you need to account for that and not just for the single levels of information inside each of the categories. So let's just press continue on this, or set on this time here. I'm guessing if we tap the little retry button, it'll just go to today. Yup. Okay, very smooth. Let's see that again. I'm gonna go to February and now reset. See, in this case, they did animate that section properly. So it's a very nice animation, and same thing for the hours here. Beautiful. Yep, okay. And let's see that again. Boom. And they also do a very nice job with haptics of whenever you're actually resetting something, you can kind of feel the numbers clocking in and out. Okay, let's try hitting the search, see what it looks like. I really like their like rounded circle components. They look nice. Let's see what the weather is like in Paris. Let's go for Paris, France. Boom. Okay, they just open the sheet, so they don't open the map straight away. If I go for map, I guess I'm just in the center of Paris. Yep, right in the Louvre. Or not right in the Louvre, that's not the Louvre. Nice. Anyway, we can zoom out here. Let's start to see the shade from the back. Okay, you don't really see much like this. You kind of need to zoom in to see the shade. And this is also a good example of them dynamically loading different bits of information on the screen. So for example, if you see now, I can only see the main buildings in this area of Paris. And if I start to zoom in, then you actually see the rest of the buildings and their shades. So don't be fooled by this view by thinking there's only shade on this part. You need to actually zoom in. Okay, what else do we have to view here? Can I actually set multiple locations just like I can on the weather app to have them accessible easily? Let's see. Oh yeah, add favorite. Okay, let's try setting another location. Add favorite. And now if I come here, favorites, boom. I can go to different things. Oh, and I can also tap on the map. So that's cool. Actually, they set my favorites on the map with a little heart, and then I can tap them to automatically go there. Okay, that's a very interesting use case. Okay, now what else do we have? Let's go into the settings, see what those look like. They do cross-selling of apps. They do selling of their own Instagram, and then they just have the preferences. Okay, Auto start live activities. Okay, I actually want to see their live activities. Slide 2 fingers up and down. Okay, they also have a customization tab here. So that's interesting. They have themes, app icons, and info bars. Let's start at the bottom with the info bar. Show info bar. So what do we have? Conditions. Oh, I can actually set the things that I want. So I'll want first light. I'll want condition, temperature, UV, and precipitation. Okay. And how does that actually manifest? Where's the info bar? I don't see it anywhere. What is the info bar? Because they say info bar, but they don't really explain it. What is the info bar? On. Okay, let's go back. I don't really see anything. I wish they had some kind of illustration on the preferences to tell me what the info bar is. I'm gonna try closing the app. Okay, so I get the info bar now. I was just being stupid. The info bar is at the top. So it's these top icons here that you can actually tap and use as like quick shortcuts into different aspects that matter to you on a specific location. So that's pretty cool. You can customize your view to whatever you want. And actually, while I was exploring the app just now, I realized that if I go to my location, there's actually an AR button there on the left. So let's tap the AR button. You're gonna see the messiness of my studio. All right. And now we can actually see in AR where the sun is going to be. So that's super interesting. And you can actually see where it's going to be and where it is. You can see that I have a door here and it points to the sun and the sun is like right there. So this is very cool. Actually, basically the AR representation of what is happening. And if I tap, so the contextual menu actually changed here. We have a calendar. So I can change to today, for example. Let's go at 6 p.m. or 5 p.m. And the sun was right there shining through the window. And if I set that and now click on the menu at the middle here, I can place the little cube. So let's place the little cube here on top. Oh, no, let's place it here. And we can see how the sun would affect the cube if it was right here. You see this, for example, as a photographer, I've done some like freelance videography and photography in the past. This is extremely useful to, for example, plan a shoot and know exactly when to do things, because you can essentially think about how it's going to look way before you're even there. So you can move this around, you can do all sorts of things. And then there's also a sun with a slider. Let's see what that does. So it's manual calibration. Okay, I'm just messing things up because I have no idea where the sun actually is. So let's not do this. But this AR view is also extremely interesting. So actually we have 3 views, which I didn't realize in the beginning. We have the little simplified cube view, we have the useful AR view, and then we have the map view. So that's very cool. So now we're back into the simplified view. Let's go into the settings again and continue seeing the preferences. So preferences. We have seen the info bar. Let's take a look at the app icons that they have. Okay, they have sunrise, sunset, night, pride, gay, lesbian, bisexual, trans, app design awards. Very interesting to see an icon for app design awards and then trans right there. WWDC 2024, Earth, and Moonlit. Okay, all of them look very nice. Like it's so simple, but it just translates so well to different scenarios. I'm gonna keep the standard one. Then we have themes. So for theme, we have dark, light, and system. Right now we're dark. Let's just click light. Okay, and now my eyes are burning and I much prefer the darker one. So let's switch that straight away. Settings, preferences, dark, thank you. Okay, and we also have a tab for notifications, which is interesting. So notifications, they're all off by default and they only asked for notifications now. Okay, interesting. So this app actually does not rely a lot on notifications since they don't seem to ever actually ask for it. Okay, you will receive 1 notification per day, 2, 3. Oh, very cool, this count of notifications. I'm gonna turn them all on and then tomorrow I'm gonna hate myself for it. And then in 2 days, I'm gonna deactivate probably. Okay, at event time, 15 minutes before. So you can get a notification basically 15 minutes before every sunset. That's an interesting concept. I feel like that could be a very niche app on its own. Just like 30 minutes before sunset, send a notification. Hey, go look outside. So then we have general, subscription, support. We're not going to really learn much from those. And I think we've pretty much seen the entire app. So what have we seen? We have seen a very useful AR view for knowing where the sun is. We have seen how a very utilitarian app can look amazing and have very, very nice touches that are not needed but make it much better. We have seen a cool interactive onboarding that actually teaches you to use the app while being a fun experience. And we have seen nice little details in animations and sliders, just like general interaction details that really matter when you're doing something where that interaction is going to be the core of the app. We have also seen other cool things like home customization, but those are not nearly as important as the other ones. And overall, I think I'm going to be a user of this app. I might just buy the lifetime subscription since this is the kind of thing that I use. So really glad we got to take a look at this. Really glad my friend sent it to me. And I'll see you on the next episode of the App Breakdown. See ya.